Hey guys, we're going to get you right to the show real quick, but I got to make a quick announcement here. In this podcast, I make a false statement. Not only a false statement made, but the same false statement made numerous times over and over. I know, the guy that gets things wrong all the time got something wrong again. But I want to thank Kyle Summers on our Patreon for pointing it out to us and letting me get ahead of this before all of you start getting the cross and the nails, you know? Now, the statement I said, which is completely untrue, is that Holy Musical Batman followed Twisted, which is 100% an untrue fact. It is, in fact, incorrect. There is, in fact, a full musical in between Holy Musical Batman and Twisted with the Harry Potter Senior Year StarKid show. So that is just an incorrect statement, and I make it very often. However, I still believe the sentiment is true, and I felt the same way, except I felt it in comparison to Starship in a Harry Potter sequel, where Holy Musical Batman still feels like a significant step down from those two. So the point stands, but I said it by comparing it to the wrong thing. So I am ready to step onto the pyre and be burnt, if that is what is called for. And please feel free to call me a doo-doo poo-poo head all over Twitter, because I deserve it. But aside from that, Andrew and Ethan have great things to say, so why don't you listen to them? All right, let's get on to the show. Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Batman.
And
I'm Brianna Jones, because I saw that it was written in the notes that I should say that.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Bree to like musical theater.
Who's Andrew? I'm Batman.
And today, we have a wonderful returning special guest who I am very happy to bring back.
Hi, everyone.
It's Robin, everybody.
Hi, Robin. See you in the
Robin, I'm
Batcave
Dad.
later.
But no, we have Ethan from Sideways back again, and probably the fastest turnaround we've ever had for a guest, because you were just here in like March.
Oh, I love talking about music and musicals. This is my shit.
We're so happy to have you here. It's wonderful. And our Rosewater episode is probably one of our top best episodes ever.
It was fun. It's a good musical. It is totally, I said it before, I'll say it again. It is a diamond in the rough. More people need to see it.
Absolutely.
Is that what we're talking about today, though, Ethan?
Absolutely not. Today we're talking about a magnum opus, one of the greatest musicals written in the contemporary age. A beautiful work of pristine art. We are talking, of course, about the Holy Musical Batman.
Batman.
And he's catching those crooks with his grappling hooks. He's here to save the day. It makes me want to say, Holy Musical Batman. Whoa! Holy Musical Batman.
Holy Musical Batman is a musical with music and lyrics by Nick Gage and Scott Lamps, and a book by Matt Lang and Nick Lang. Holy Musical Batman is a parody musical based on DC Universe's Batman comic books, as well as the 1989 film and 2008's The Dark Knight. The name Holy Musical Batman is a reference to the 1960s television series Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward. Robin would often make that pun, like we all know that.
It wasn't funny, but
It wasn't funny even back then, but really this musical is about Bruce Wayne, who really just wants to find a friend and wants to find super friends. The musical was performed on March 22nd to 25th, 2012 at the Hoover Leppen Theater in Chicago, Illinois. It was produced by StarKid Productions and directed by Matt Lang. The musical stars an ensemble cast featuring Joe Walker as the Batman and Nick Lang as his sidekick, Robin. The group put on the entire musical on YouTube in around April 13th of 2012. So think about it like that. This is a pre-Avengers world that this was made in. This is a pre-Dark Knight Rises world that this was made in. Pre-Justice League, too. Pre-Lego Batman, pre-Harley Quinn series. So that is the world we're living in with this.
man, if they had just waited, this could have been even better.
Yes.
If they had just waited, the satire you could have done on the DC universe, man.
Yeah, it rings a little hollow before like all of this, because now we actually have a full-on Batman v Superman that isn't very good, but it feels like I mean, it feels like there's a lot of potential for spoofing that this doesn't do because of the time it came out. And that's not its fault.
I would have loved to see a Martha joke in this musical. It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
There could have been a whole Martha musical number. It would have been, yeah.
It's dated as far as humor goes because of it's just missing all of that ripe satire material.
Perfect stuff.
I think they should do it again. We can call it like Holy Fuck Musical Batman, and like just now it's darker, you know.
It's interesting to look at it kind of like from the massive catalog of Batman licensed and Batman themed, like everything, all the cartoons, all the comics, all the movies, the whole Batman series for the last gajillion years. I don't know, because when you look at like Batman the animated series, you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. And then you think of the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan films, think of the Justice League, and you're like, oh, it goes downhill from here really fast, you know? And so kind of looking at this musical in its own, I don't want to say time capsule, but in its own context is really, really fascinating on what it is that they're riffing, you know?
Yes, I 100% agree.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's it remind you of?
Like tonally, it's kind of like those college humor sketches with Batman. I forget what they called them, Badman or something like that, where it's just like these jokes about Batman, but he's dumb, you know. And I feel like they have a lot of that going on in this one.
Yeah, like he's kind of a meathead.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, it's Batman, but like, what if he was like stupid?
Well, one of my favorite recurring jokes throughout the whole musical is just how everyone's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, which is kind of what they would do in the college humor sketches. But I think those are from around the same time period.
The 2012 time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the dark days.
Yeah, before the Empire. But Ethan, you're the one that requested that we cover this today. So I'm assuming you've got some passionate thoughts about it, and I want to hear them.
I have some very intense, passionate thoughts. Do you want to just like dive into it, into the meat and bones of it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
what do you got?
So the thing is about this musical is when I first saw it, I saw it like 2013, 2014. My little brother showed it to me. And he was like, oh, you like comic books and you're like getting a music degree. You're kind of a dork. This is perfect for you. And I was like, it was like Christmas break or something like that. We put it on the TV and I'm like, oh God, like a 2-hour YouTube video. Crap. Now I have to be polite. You know, I'm thinking, oh, this is 15 minutes. It's a skit, you know, laugh. Haha, that was great. And then never show it to any of my friends. I watched the whole thing and I was just like constantly dumbfounded at their ability to either not make it totally stupid or play into how stupid it is. Because there's just no way to make this work, right? Like you just hear the title, oh, a Batman musical. It's like a Spider-Man musical, right? And instead of the Spider-Man musical, which I've never seen, it doesn't take itself in the slightest bit serious. And that's really, really important. And so while you're watching it, it's just constantly filled with like, I don't know how to even call it, like musical, like, I don't want to use tropes, but just musical coping mechanisms, I guess. And so like one of the things that I love about this musical, like more than anything, is literally the first 5 minutes. Because the first 5 minutes does everything it possibly can to set your expectations as low as possible while also desensitizing you to what it is you're about to see, right? Because like you're literally watching a bunch of 30-year-olds in costume playing superheroes on the playground. That's what this musical is, basically, right? Superman goes whoosh. Batman's throwing invisible batarangs, right? All the goons have their Tommy guns and like rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, right? Like that's stupid. That looks stupid. It looks silly, right? But by establishing that that's how they're going to do things, when it comes back later in the show, you're kind of already sitting there like, this is what it's going to look like. I can kind of switch gears. Your threshold for suspension of disbelief has to be through the roof, depending on how you look at it, in order to kind of get what it is that they're trying to riff on. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, and a lot of that comes from, and here's where I'm coming from. Let's frame it like this. Let's say Andrew Lloyd Webber. You see School of Rock on its own, you think, oh, that's a fun musical adaptation of School of Rock. But when you hear it's from Andrew Lloyd Webber, the guy that did Jesus Christ Superstar and Phantom of the Opera and all of these things, it's like, okay, no. And that's how I came in feeling this, because they were riding very, very high at this point, the StarKid Productions. And this is the first one I believe A.J. Holmes did not do the music for. And it feels very different from it. Whereas Twisted it could work as its own musical. It is that high quality. It has the emotional gut punches. It has the comedy side of it, as well as all this. And they follow it up with this. And this, as good as it is, and it has some very high highs, they still fall into a lot of their same tropes where this is very overlong. Every scene, I feel like, goes on about 3 to 5 minutes too long.
Yeah.
And I feel like they kind of rush through the songs so much that there isn't many songs in it.
That is a big criticism of the show, is that there's no numbers. There's like 5 per act, 4 per act.
Which is like nothing for a 2-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's this story that they have, which is fun and engaging and a great parody of like superhero tropes, especially in pre-Avengers Endgame, or like all that time. Yeah, they're pretty good, but they basically took this and made it into the Lego movie, or the Lego Batman movie 5 years later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
same.
If you did this now, it would just be Lego Batman the musical.
The story beats are so eerily similar. Like if I wrote this musical and then I went and I sat in the theater and I watched Lego Batman, I would be furious, because there are a lot of really suspicious similarities between this show and Lego Batman. Like all the story beats are like the exact same. It's really weird.
One of the ballsiest moves that it did was kill off the Joker before the story started, just so they didn't have the crutch of the Joker, which is something I remember
like,
first watch was like, all right, that's smart.
Did they, though? Because I kept waiting for the reveal that Sweet Tooth was the Joker, and it just never happened.
I think that Sweet Tooth kind of became the Joker, you know,
by the end of it.
Sort of like thematically, like he had his own Harlequin and everything. So it kind of like was the Joker, but it wasn't.
I think that they just had a bunch of candy puns, and they're like, well, we can have the Joker do these, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, those candy puns were impressive. Say what you will, just from a performance perspective, like him just constantly pulling chocolate bars out of his sleeves for like 5 straight minutes it was something else. Like that's a lot of practice to get that down right.
It's funny, and I'm waiting for them to adapt him into the actual Batman universe, because
it wouldn't surprise me.
It fits. It does fit. They're absolutely right. Batman villains are incredibly one-note puns.
And they're also right about one thing that no other like product has really brought up, is that Superman's the only competent one at his job, because we don't know any of his villains because he does his fucking job.
Yeah, kind of, right? I mean, it's weird how this sort of has the exact same ending as Justice League, where it's like, Superman showed up, I guess everything's fixed. Yeah. But sorry, go ahead.
When Superman exists in your universe, how do you really end a story without that being the ending?
You constantly need kryptonite in every single story, and that's exactly what it turns into.
Yep.
Yeah, but kind of coming back to what you're saying about the story is, I'm not familiar with StarKid's catalog. The only other musical I've seen all the way through is The Man Who Hates Musicals. And I feel like...
Not the best choice.
Not the best choice. I thought it sounded the funniest. I think that this show and that show both have a very similar problem in how much they kind of rely on this irreverence. They don't take anything seriously. It's kind of like some of those Marvel movies where they don't let themselves like sit and have a sincere or serious moment. So like when you're watching The Man Who Hates Musicals, there's the one scene where they're like supposed to kiss and she like pukes blood on him and she's like, all right, fuck it, go save the day. And this musical kind of felt like that all the way through. Like there were definitely moments where it needed to have like a sincere moment where Batman was like, oh dude, Robin, I actually really do like having you around. And it just kind of came off as like, bro, we're so fucking cool. Yeah, fuck yeah, Robin. You know, like it never came off as a real moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I will say that they have taken steps to fix that, both to positive and negative results. Positively, I'll say Twisted really does have some deeply sincere moments, and
But Twisted is before those two, isn't it? So.
But also Black Friday, I think, has some deeply sincere moments that they want you to take deathly seriously, but it isn't as effective there because of all the irreverence beforehand, and quite often they tend to replace a joke with just saying a swear.
Well, they do that in everything though, like that's even in Twisted.
See, I kind of like, I'm really not a fan of that because looking at this from just a business perspective, it really limits the marketability. It would otherwise more or less be a show that you could take kids to, or at least bring a family along. But because they're constantly dropping F-bombs, you can't really do it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could literally sell this musical and be like, hey, do you want to make a Lego Batman musical? Except for you'd have to cut all the swearing.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's like perfect.
It is the exact same story. Just like it was really shocking me. Like I was upset watching it, like even down to Alfred getting his own costume and being a superhero by the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there is also that weird kind of racist thing with Alfred.
Yeah.
The Irish.
I think we have to bring this up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a big yikes moment. I'm like, that really took a hard left turn, guys. This isn't okay.
I was like trying to be like, oh well, it's a character, and like, oh, but it's like not though.
Yeah, they're trying to do something like superficial. It's like you can't have that be superficial. If you're gonna do something like that, you have to like address it. You know, it would almost be funnier if like the whole cast came on stage and they were looking at Alfred like, bro, what the fuck? You know?
But maybe that's the point.
2012 was a different time, guys.
Maybe that's the point, though. Maybe they're pointing out that dressing up and pretending to be a British person and dressing up and pretending to be an Irish person is all the same, you know? And like we should have looked at those two the same way.
I don't think they did that.
No, they need to do a lot more in order to make that statement.
Look, I'm just trying to throw something out there, guys. Jeez.
Let me frame this a little better, and I feel like Bree will. I'm very interested in what Bree thinks because I think she might have watched this at gunpoint from us.
That's sad. I'm sorry.
So Bree,
no one should be forced to watch musicals.
Yes. For context, because this will affect you and me. This entire production company started in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and just out of the University of Michigan basement suite. And you and I both know what Ann Arbor people are. They're fake woke, and then they just say racist shit and then pretend it's okay. And I feel that a lot in here, where they just kind of think, oh no, I'm fine, we can say this. And then hire no black people or anything like that. So what did you think, Bree?
Yeah, I definitely kind of saw that. But mind you, I watched it at 1.25 speed. I watched it very fast.
Oh, wow.
That's how I get things done. But it felt like an SNL skit to me, almost. But
yeah.
More offensive in some ways.
They could say the F word.
Yeah, but I definitely saw it as like an SNL skit almost. Like that's the vibe I got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, SNL is fake woke, so I feel like that fits, right?
Yeah. They'll just say that they're on your side and then throw Donald Trump as the host, and that won't have any repercussions, will it?
Yeah. I mean, did we even explain what we're talking about? Alfred dresses up as a Chinese man, is that right?
Yep, that happens.
He puts on like a Spirit Halloween hat from 2007.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, like, does he come out and I don't think he goes so far as to be like Ching Chong or whatever, but like...
I think he does. I think
yes,
he definitely
does.
tries to throw his accent a little bit.
Okay, yeah, good. Very cool.
But I was definitely sitting there just like, okay, we're going to like make fun of the fact that Alfred's
He's
doing
racist.
this, right? Yeah, we're gonna like address this and call it out.
No, he just at the end is just like, this sounds like a job for my racist stereotype, and then we never see him again.
It's totally just like this. Yeah, you guys need to have this be something else.
Maybe we should have done another rewrite on this, you know?
Yeah, you know, just pass it to another friend or something.
You know, at least they didn't write a song like Ching Chong Wing Wong the song or something like that. You know, that would have been bad.
This isn't Breakfast at Tiffany's, Andrew.
It's weird. It's weird trying to figure out, because it's so strange, because like you said, looking at this in hindsight, right? They told, and this is really difficult to do, right? They told a really good Batman story. Right, they basically anticipated Lego Batman like 5 years ahead of time, and like the in terms of like looking at the Batman extended universe, they have so many cool little references if you're paying attention that I absolutely
Yeah.
love. But then they turned around and did like the Alfred stuff, which is awful. They have like, if you're gonna do an Obama impersonation, you gotta nail it. And
I think that was on purpose. I think they literally just did like a George Bush impression and said, "It's your president, Barack Obama."
okay, because like,
I feel like that was an intentional joke.
because
there.
those are definitely a couple times
Well-
where like it didn't just suck me out of the musical, but I was like actively disliking it, you know?
Yeah.
Because they did the same thing in Black Friday, where they had literally the same actor doing the same voice and just like different president.
Huh.
I mean, every president has been George W. Bush. Like, let's just admit it, guys.
Anyways, I really get what you're saying about all that, and I feel like these people know their shit. Like, they've read more comic books than Zack Snyder and Chris Nolan combined, in all honesty.
Absolutely.
They are intelligent people that actually enjoy the material. But the thing is, it just feels very dated in a world where the internet wasn't quite as prevalent as it is now, where everyone has a take on different Batman stories and everything else.
Can I say I feel like it's too much of a soft parody, and especially with the swearing and all that, I wanted like a hard satire, and they kind of hint at it early on. They're like, aren't you like a mega billionaire and you're just going around shooting people? And like, that's like what I'm looking for. And then they just kind of soften it up as it goes. They're like, oh no,
Criticism of Batman kind of thing.
yeah, like a real, not like a parody where it's like, oh, well, Batman's fun and we love Batman. And I want something that's like, hey, Batman is like actively bad for his community.
Like when they're like,
and-
oh, my patellar tendon. Oh God. Like that.
I
yeah.
mean, you just read The Dark Knight Returns at that point, if you want that.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of what I wanted, and it started going that direction, and then it stopped, and I was like, oh.
But then it just jumps to like, Robin sucks, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you guys know what the reference? Did you guys get the reference with the Robin vote? Like everybody coming in for the poll?
Was that the Jason Todd?
Yeah, it was a giant Jason Todd reference. Are you guys both up on that?
I'm not up on that. What do you got?
So comics are like crazy, and there are like thousands and thousands of different timelines and different stories. But from what I remember and from what I gathered, it's a not Damian Wayne.
No.
Dick Grayson.
Jason Todd.
Yeah, Dick Grayson was the original Robin. And at a certain point, he's basically like, yo, fuck this, I'm going to go be Nightwing. And so instead of having Batman and Robin, it's Batman and Nightwing goes over to Bloodhaven, I think the town is called. And he's like his own hero or something like that. And so Batman doesn't have a Robin. And if I remember correctly, like some kid is trying to steal the wheels off of the Batmobile while Batman's just out on parole. This is what I heard. I haven't read the comic, so I could be very wrong. And so Batman's like, yeah, you'll do. And so Jason Todd becomes the new Robin. But the fans fucking hated it. They hated Jason Todd. And like the Jason Todd was like dark and dingy and like didn't listen to Batman. He was like rebellious and all that. And so they ended up having a storyline called Batman: A Death in the Family, where through a 900 number, fans would call in and vote as to whether or not the Joker would kill the Robin. Right? So no. So what happens is like, I've got the Wikipedia article over. It's like 4 issues. Issue number 3, there's like a 900 number that where fans can come in and vote. Joker's like actively torturing Jason Todd, and then the fans vote to kill Jason Todd. And so in the 4th comic, the Joker kills Jason Todd. I think he beats him to death with a crowbar or something like that.
Yep, that is 100% what happened.
It's like super fucking brutal.
No, he beat him to death with a crowbar, and then he
fans
blew up
beat
the
him to death
building
with a
while he
crowbar.
bled to death.
It was 100% one of these like, he's fucking dead. We're not bringing him back. It's over. Shut the fuck up. You know,
and then they brought him back.
Yeah, no. So then they have one of these like, multiple personality, multiple dimensions come together, and then people who are
God.
dead come to life and stuff like that. So then Jason Todd becomes the Red Hood, and then spoilers for Batman: The Arkham Knight. He's the Arkham Knight. But yeah, so this whole like Robin voting thing was totally a subplot from like another Batman story while they're doing Lego Batman, trying to show how much Batman loves Robin. So yeah, it was like levels on levels on levels, and I'm not sure that they were all working at the same time, but it was really interesting to see them try and like fuse a bunch of stories together. You know what I mean?
I think that's funny that the fans voted to fucking kill Robin.
History is more interesting than the show.
Yeah.
They should have done like something more meta with that. Just fucking the Joker like looks at directly at everyone as like, you did this.
Can we talk about the performances for a minute and how some of them are pastiche and some of them are trying to do their own thing, but then Sweet Tooth is on a whole different fucking level?
Yeah. Sure. So like for me, when I saw Sweet Tooth, I was like, I really like this performance and I can't figure out why. And I was sitting there, I was like, I really like this performance, can't figure out why. Love this performance, can't figure out why. And then I realized it was one of my favorite performances ever growing up. He's just doing Jim Carrey as the Riddler from Batman Forever. That's like the whole thing. You're watching Jim Carrey be Sweet Tooth. That was the whole thing, but it worked.
But he's doing touches of Cesar Romero's Joker, especially with like his physicality.
Yes,
like there's this one movement he does in the America song where he specifically moves his hand in the Cesar Romero way. And I thought, and this is where my other influences from the StarKid catalog influenced it. Jeff Blim is a great actor, and he wrote the music to Black Friday and Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, and he starred in them as well. And he was also Aladdin in Twisted. He's a good actor, a good performer, but when he's doing his comedy role, he tends to just do a Jim Carrey impression in all of them. It's especially noticeable in The Trail to Oregon, where he's just doing Jim Carrey and Liar Liar basically the whole time.
I thought this was like specifically a Riddler reference. I thought it was being super clever.
So I think he was doing a Cesar Romero reference, but he can only do a Jim Carrey voice.
All right. So no, I definitely read Riddler. I loved Robin. Who was Robin?
Nick Lang. He also wrote the book.
Okay. All right.
I thought Robin was like the perfect amount of like awkward and weird.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you really threaded the needle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just like, yeah. I don't think I'd want to be around him, but you know, it's funny to watch.
But like that's kind of like the character, right? He's supposed to be kind of insufferable, which is why only someone like Batman could like him. You know?
Yeah, because Batman is insufferable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, the role for me that seemed like impossibly difficult was Superman. Like how do you...
I wanted more Superman.
Yeah?
Yes.
I wanted more Superman, but I think, yeah, he it's hard to play a sad Superman.
Yeah, you're like a sad, lonely, uncool Superman who's constantly leaving voicemails on other people's phones. It's like you're on stage talking to yourself, making yourself depressed. Like that's a tough role to play, and I think he did a great job.
And that's Brian Holden. He's one of the founding members, and he wrote a few of them. He's directed a few of them, and he's a big behind the scenes guy in this, and he occasionally just jumps on for smaller roles. And he knocked it out of the park with this because he kind of has like that cleft jaw of Superman, and but he also is very good at playing the punching bag in almost every scene.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely, yeah, that's a good way to describe what he was doing. It was really good. I really liked it.
The costume design is one of those things that I think is really effective here, where they are literally in tighty whities, and I
loved that. I love because
it's kind of an obvious joke, but it's like if they didn't do it, you'd be upset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. it totally adds to, like, I don't know if meta joke is the way to word it, but they're definitely working with the whole, we know that we're standing on stage on theater, we're like 5 feet away from each other and you're staring at my junk, that kind of costume. And it works. It totally works with that. Like, you just can't take it seriously.
Especially Robin, who's not wearing anything underneath the
right.
The part where he just rips his clothes off and like has that underneath.
He already has it on.
Beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful.
That was probably the best joke. I'm not sure
the best visual joke, at least.
Yes.
Like they expect you to laugh just because of the way that his plane looks and stuff like that. And as far as visual gags go, that one's the top one. It's just the scene before that just went on way too long.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I really liked the dancers holding bats in the background while Batman was singing. That I thought was hilarious. That was like 100% like using what you've got. You know what I mean? Just like, how do we make this even more absurd?
The only thing that I think is like all this is good, especially it hasn't aged well, but I think it's still generally good, and I don't want to make it seem bad because it isn't. But the one thing that I think was even badly aged at the time is making fun of Christian Bale's voice, like doing that voice throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? This is always funny.
I'll definitely give you that's the one thing that didn't age well. It would have, because you can definitely see them making like a Ben Affleck joke nowadays, you know, or like having him walk in like a Lego costume if they're going to do it now. It's definitely like it's weird to make a Christian Bale joke, but then also make like a George Clooney bat nipple joke.
Right.
You know, it's like if you're going to make fun of different Batmans, like do it over and over again. Like if his costume kept changing. You know, like if just for like one scene for absolutely no reason he's got bat nipples, that would have been hilarious. But to just have the one voice, it kind of feels like if he just kept screaming Martha over and over again, like
right,
yeah.
We get it, it works, but let's do something else now.
Should have done a gag where he couldn't move his neck, where his neck's just like that, something like that. But no, you gotta go for the low hanging fruit. I think that's StarKid's motto.
It isn't though. Like with the Harry Potter stuff, I feel like they were really ahead of their time, and all the jokes in the Harry Potter stuff kind of hold up. Not so much because J.K. Rowling is a piece of shit, but we also need to think about Twisted, which I don't think anything in there was low hanging fruit, so to say.
So you're saying that like by their whole catalog, this doesn't rate very high for you?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't even call this top 3. Wow. It is not the bottom of the list though, because Annie still exists, which I think is actively bad.
Annie? They did an Annie?
Yeah.
Like StarKid did an Annie, not just Annie?
Yes, they did an Annie about Anakin Skywalker.
Oh,
I gotta watch that. That sounds great. Tell me why it's not.
Oh no, you hyped him up for it, Jess.
Don't see this.
Well, it bothers me specifically because it's not a real musical. It's just like diegetic music sung over scenes, which bothers me. And it's all
kind of like the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, but it's a Broadway or it's a theater show, so it's like, come on, sing for me, god damn it.
Okay.
And also the joke is Darth Vader is doing a Patrick Warburton impression, and that's the joke.
Ah, okay.
And Tarkin wants to be friends with Vader. That's the joke.
Huh. See, yeah, I kind of get it. When I was watching this show, though, the thing that really got me, that made me like, that kind of really, really impressed me was, I don't want to say the word diegesis, but how they negotiated suspending the audience's disbelief. You know, and that's why I really feel like the opening was so strong and why that carried throughout the rest of the show. Because it is really, really silly. And I think that working toward making it a little bit more serious in a few specific parts could have been better. Like they introduce all of the rogues and then Sweet Tooth comes in way too late.
44 minutes into the 2-hour show, he comes in nearly an hour in.
Yeah, he's basically like the Act 1's end, you know? Mm-hmm.
I'd love just a sequel where they just do Sweet Tooth. Just Sweet Tooth. Do a Joker, you know, but it's Sweet Tooth.
The origin story of Sweet Tooth, and it's like super dark.
It's like
he murdered people with the candy cane on a train.
Well, you can do like a parody though. Do like a parody of
you'd
Joker,
like have him fall into a vat of caramel.
Oh,
I want this.
His skin is just sugar.
Yeah, you can have him stab people with candy canes, right?
Well, he has that big candy cane.
Right.
Cane.
Oh, and then in the end, he dies by pouring water on him and he melts.
Well, let's get Goranson on here. What's her name? Ludwig Goranson? Let's get her in there and just compose a bunch of strings with a candy cane.
You've got this. This is the idea. This is the return of StarKid.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Return. Holy Musical Batman 2. Revenge of Candyland. And then his whole empire is called Candyland. And all the villains are themed off the Candyland board game. Because that was genuinely one joke I really liked in this musical, was how they were like, oh, all of the rogues just happen to be public domain names. Here's Sherlock Holmes with a heat ray. I thought that was really funny.
Which is fair. You got Mad Hatter in that.
It was like Mad Hatter, Sherlock Holmes. Wasn't Huckleberry Finn in it at one point? Did I hallucinate that?
You may have hallucinated that. I don't remember that.
No.
I don't remember much, though. I'm 2 glasses of wine in. But let's go into a mid-show announcement and then talk about the songs.
Sure.
All right. Batman, what are you doing here? Are you going to tell us about Patreon?
I'm going to tell you about... I got something in my throat, sorry. I'm going to tell you about Patreon. Well, Patreon's where you can go if you want to donate to us and get extra perks and stuff. We are starting some other show that I still can't remember the name of. Jess, what is it?
Fosse Verdon. We haven't recorded any episodes
We haven't
yet, but
recorded
we'll
any
do it.
episodes as of right now, but there's still going to be one posted before we even post this.
Hopefully.
So, Jess, do you want to read our current patrons? Do you want me to go through?
Holy Patreon, Batman. I'll read the patrons.
Oh, he's got it.
Our current patrons are Terry Needleman, Max Lunig, Benjamin Lair, Lily Ackles, John Donna, Taryn the Duck, The Fantastic, Jess Lightning, Ewan Cassidy, Haley McDonald, Taskier, Fire September, Mina Maniri, Monica Thoreau, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Allison Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Luna
don't
Rocks
stop coming.
222, Ira Gale Jouet Whiter, Carrie Ahern, Christine Malmedel, Mezzanine Theater Diary, Mary Lou Choquette, Ann Nunnally, Cole Birchfield, John Vanals, Holly Stistically, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Grace, Andrew Van Barson, Emily Stack, Kyle Summers, Mr. B, Janae C, Kyle, Christina Francis, Jessica A, Skylar, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth, Allison Steller, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Ren Cohen, Thespian with a B, Crystal Stapleton, Elizabeth Lovengood, Victoria Tribble, and Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks for coming on, Alex. But they give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you'd like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as patron-only commentaries, come join us at Patreon. All right, let's get on to the show. All right. Well, let's talk about the opening number, Sideways. Or Ethan, you have an actual name.
What? Do your fans know your name?
The ones that watch me stream and play video games.
But Holy Musical Batman, that is a really interesting... That's a very interesting opening number, wouldn't you say?
It is.
One shot, 2 shots in the night, and they're gone, and he's all left alone. He's just one boy, 2 dead at his feet, and the blood stains the street. And there's nothing, no, there's nothing he can do.
Okay, so the thing about this musical is that I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and it says it has 9 songs. I would give it closer to 8, right? Just in terms of how they work. And so what we're basically looking at here is we're looking at like a Disney movie number of songs stretched over a 2-hour musical.
Over
Yes.
2 hours. It is over 2 hours.
Over 2 hours, right?
Absolutely.
So with fewer musical numbers, each one becomes even more important. So now there's more weight on each song to like tell a story, serve a function, have something happen. And it doesn't happen in every single one of these numbers. Like in the first one, Holy Musical
Well, you
Batman,
have to have a few songs that are just jokes and have no story relevance at all, right?
You don't, though. You don't.
Wait, no, you do though, Jess, right?
Well,
No, you don't.
well, hold on. There is a case for doing something like that, right? Like you think of what's the Olaf song in Frozen?
In Summer, but that's a character introduction song. That's actually very important.
Right. But it is like the whole song is just one giant joke of he doesn't understand what happens to snowmen in summer, right?
Yes, but that has much more impact than, say, the weird song they give him in Frozen 2 that has no purpose.
Right, exactly. So the thing is you can have a song that is like 90% joke, 10%, oh, okay, that's what the comic relief character is, right? It's sort
Yeah.
of like a mini I Want song.
Yes.
And it doesn't really happen here. Like, this is where things got really, really interesting for me in terms of breaking it apart. Like with Holy Musical Batman, like I said, the whole intro, it sets up your expectations. Okay, it's not going to be high budget wire work, you know.
It's not going to be a stunt show.
Yeah, 3D printed props or anything like that. But Holy Musical Batman, it's the company. There's really no characters. It doesn't introduce anyone. It's really like an expectation setting number, which is really, really polarizing, I think is the word I want to use. Because narratively, it does next to nothing. But because it's Batman and you already really know about Batman, you know what's going on with Batman, it sets the tone for what this Batman is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And in that sense, like I said, it's very similar to the first number in Lego Batman, where it's literally Batman shows up, beats everybody up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Batman." Like that's the song, right? That's the number.
Are you saying that Lego Batman absolutely 100% ripped off this?
I'm not saying 100%, but those guys definitely saw this musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I would say without question, I would definitely say they saw the music.
I mean, if they made it about the relationship between Superman and Batman, I'd agree more. But since it is more about the Joker and Batman, I'm like, all right, maybe not.
It's the Robin thing for me. But yeah, I was kind of like, you know, you hear Holy Musical Batman, and the first thing in your head is like, okay, Batman has to sing. Right, you're walking into the show, you're going to hear somebody dressed up in a Batman outfit take off the cowl and sing to the audience, and it's going to be serious, and you got to take it serious. Like, how do you navigate that? How do you write that number? You don't. But they did by introducing it through Alfred. Right?
I mean, no, this is through the townspeople where they're like, Holy Musical
No,
Batman.
the second number.
Oh, all right, we're moving on.
We're
to
combining
Dark,
the two
Sad,
numbers.
Lonely Night.
Because Holy Musical and Batman, the song, is just telling you that it exists.
Yeah, that Batman exists, and we are in a musical right now.
Right.
Yes. Which you could have gotten from the title, but really the song is the tone setter. Now we
Yes.
move on to the character introduction.
Poor Master Bruce, poor Mr. White, lonely caboose on a one-car train. And it pains me to watch you amble along this track of loneliness I laid down for you. I remember that horrible night, the night you were split in two, and I swore I'd protect you, and I haven't. So I built a wall all around you, but the wall was too tall and it blocked out all of the birds and the sun. I tried to raise you right, I tried to raise you proper, I tried to be a mentor and a friend, and a mama and a lover too. I did insulate you from any outside source of fright.
It's like a thematic set piece song, you know? It's like you already know Batman, but this is what our Batman's gonna look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then Dark, Sad, Lonely Night is an I Want song as told through the eyes of Alfred. But it's not just an I Want song for Batman, it's an I Want song for Superman as well.
Yeah, it was ambitious. I would say it's ambitious.
Yes.
Because I still like when you I'm trying to figure out like what you would call Superman, because he's not the antagonist. Was it the tritagonist, the third guy?
I mean, who would be your second guy?
I mean, I don't want to say Robin, but Robin. It's Batman and
Robin doesn't come in until halfway through Act 1 and has no arc,
Which
whereas
makes-
Superman very much has an arc.
Right, and Alfred similarly doesn't have an arc, but a lot of emphasis is put on him early on in the show.
I mean, I think Superman is the antagonist. I think we could say
Sweet
that.
Tooth is the antagonist.
No.
Now, Sweet Tooth is more of like a hurdle.
Sweet Tooth is like a secondary antagonist.
I'd say that.
Superman is the actual antagonist, because really what ends the show is Batman defeating Superman.
Wouldn't
by
this be
becoming best
great
friends.
if instead of like starting with Holy Musical Batman, we went Hamilton or Jesus Christ Superstar style and make it from Superman's point of view about like, this is who Batman is, and I disagree with him, but I also want to be his best friend. And then we see that like need become like.
Does
evil
Superman
and-
disagree with Batman, or does Superman just upset that everyone thinks Batman is cool?
Yeah, I don't feel like they established it super well.
I don't think Superman actually has any
well.
disagreements with Batman. Superman is just like, I wish everyone else thought I was as cool as they think Batman is. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be envious if my peer was that much cooler than me and liked me so little. Mm-hmm. Right,
I don't
Andrew?
I mean, I don't know if that's comparable though, Jess, because I'm like way cooler than you. Whereas Batman is like not that much cooler than Superman, if we're real.
Yeah, I guess. Billionaires are never cooler than anyone.
Yes.
I did like the bit where they're like, "Oh, you should just be born a billionaire." That was really funny.
That's the kind of thing I was looking for, and then they did it like once and then stopped.
Like you want like a complete deconstruction of Batman.
Absolutely. I feel like it hasn't been done. Like, it definitely could be done, and it hasn't.
Dark Knight Returns, read it, son.
I'm sure, but that's like actually Batman, though. I need like a satire of it.
It is 100% a satire of it.
Yeah, it is.
From the inside, though. I don't know. It doesn't feel the same from
It's
the
like
inside.
if you had a satire of Batman. It's like the Brady Bunch movie, where they got the rights to the Brady Bunch, but they're doing a satire of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, or like Starship Troopers, I guess, yeah.
Rogues are we? What do we think about this?
This town's been chewing on bat casserole for far too long. But tonight, we provide a little palate cleanser. Moving on to the dessert course, we're gonna give this city something sweet to suck on, baby! Rogues, assemble, gather, unite, and take a mental snapshot of this most auspicious night. We got strength in numbers now, the battle can begin. We're raging for a Batman and the war is ours to win. Rise up like a natural disaster. We take the bat and we take back the town. We hum in harmony, arm in arm, we hold our stance in solidarity.
How long did it take for this song to show up after Dark Side Lonely Night?
35 minutes. Like, it is 35 minutes when the song
Yeah,
shows up.
they needed to. I definitely feel like some things needed to be rearranged here.
There's like a solid like 15, 20 minutes between the first songs and this one. And it's like, oh, right. This is
Musical,
a musical.
yeah.
Right. There's music in this.
Well, it's so weird because Rogues Are We introduces the villain's sidekicks before the villain.
But it's all the villains that we know before we introduce the new villain that we made up especially for this doobadob we're making.
Right. But I'm just like, the fact that it's backwards is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like giving Gaston a number, it's LeFou.
Well, LeFou sings
LeFou
Gaston.
sings the Gaston song, doesn't he?
Right, but the song's purpose is for Gaston. Rogues Are We is not for Sweet Tooth.
I mean, it is kind of, because he introduces himself and then he kind of has like a quiet reprise at the end of it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of that, but also I feel...
All right.
Forgive me if I'm assuming too much about the songwriters, but I assume they had like this idea of Batman musical. So here's a bunch of songs, and write the show around these songs. He'll be like about the villains, and this will be about the two heroes.
Right. Where it's like where the
Yeah.
beats are. But then that makes them even more important, which means that all the material that appears in the song is like critical to the story. And Rogues Are We, not so much. Like you look at all the characters singing and you're like, they like they're criticizing in the Batman canon. Most of these characters do literally get one or two lines and they're just puns.
Well, yeah, but they wrote the song to tell a bunch of puns from those characters, and then they introduced Sweet Tooth so they can start telling all the candy puns they came up with.
Yeah, all right, I could see that.
See, that's the thought. The dancing in this is kind of lame. I just want to throw that out there.
I wonder how much the costumes held them back.
Probably a lot.
The costumes are really nice.
I liked them. I thought they were good. Like for the tone of the show. Like who is it? Mr. Freeze has a big ass helmet on him.
Yeah.
and then Catwoman has like a cat stapled to her shoulder.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do before those props start going flying across the stage, you know?
And also they have to be easy to change into because all these actors are doubling like 9 different roles. Like you got Gordon being played by another villain. It's
Look, I'm just saying that they have a dance number and they're kind of like just kind of shuffling.
Oh my God, don't bring that up. No, we're not allowed to talk about that.
What? Is
sorry.
this something I don't get? What's going on?
It's a Nostalgia Critic reference.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right.
And we don't bring him up on this show.
We don't talk about the supervillain shuffle. I'm sorry.
No, we don't. We do talk about the dynamic duet, which is the strangest Act 1 opener or Act 1 closer I've ever seen.
We're like long-lost brothers who found each other and love each other like family. You are my bro, mi amigo, and where I go is where we go. And it feels as though it was destined to be so, so very nice. Ow, ow, ow.
It doesn't even do anything to close the act. It's just like, here's Robin.
I agree. I feel like this needed to come a little sooner.
Yes,
Right,
a lot
like-
sooner.
Don't have like a half an hour in between some of the numbers. Have this be sooner and then have a new Act 1 closer that actually closes the first act.
Well, The American Way closes Act 1 perfectly. It's just that they didn't have enough songs to finish the show.
They should
Yeah.
have put the dynamic duet like either right after Rogues Are We and have Rogues Are We way earlier, or even just put it between. Like, I don't know.
Or
What
just
were
put
they-
it right after Sad, Dark, Lonely Night and be like,
Yeah,
I'm
what were
sad.
they-
Oh, wait, no, there's a Robin.
What were they doing in between Dark Sad Lonely Night and Rogues Are We? I can't even really
Superman
remember.
had the scene with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who cares?
Well, that's the thing. They put such an emphasis on Superman and the Superman story that for Superman to not really get more numbers or to be more significant in the show is really...
Well, Act 1 is a lot of Superman, and then Act 2 it's kind of like, wait, where'd Superman go? He's just not here.
Well, that kind of ties into Robin Sucks, right? Like Robin Sucks is the Act 2 opener, but it doesn't... It's not paying anything off. Like nothing is really set up. You know, you walk into Act 2 and you're like, oh, okay, people don't like Robin now for some
Everyone
reason.
doesn't like Robin now.
Yeah.
What did he do? Oh, he didn't do anything. They just think he's lame. Okay.
You see, what could have been cool... What could have been cool would be if they moved Dynamic Duet like back in the Act 1, like they compress everything in Act 1, have an Act 1 ender, even finish with The American Way, but have something happen in between Dynamic Duet and The American Way that like ruins Robin's public image because Batman's not trying because it's just him and Robin hanging out.
And have Sweet Tooth be involved.
Exactly. And then have
Sweet Tooth like takes pictures of them skipping through town and like puts it on a poster or something.
Yes, right.
And everyone's like, oh my God, Robin's terrible. He's ruining Batman.
And then you close Act 1 with The American Way. You open Act 2 with Robin Sucks. Sucks as the scapegoat. Then you can have a new number with Sweet Tooth in Act 2 singing about how great he is and how because people love him, he's managed to sell his candy to them that is going to make their heads implode.
Boom. And it's kind of like the Joker thing where he sells shampoo.
Yes. But that just triggered another explosion in the back of my mind that this is not the first Batman musical.
Wait, what?
Is it not?
Yes, in the late 2000s, like mid to late 2000s, WB musical department, which has now only really done Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Beetlejuice, which is actually very good, commissioned an adaptation of Batman 1989 to become a musical.
What?
It sounds like such a bad idea. Why did they do that?
And
Oh my
Tim Burton
God.
was actually very interested in directing it himself.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God, wait, what? Hold on, I need this in my life. I'm looking
Did it
this up.
happen?
There's a demo with a bunch of songs, but then they kind of moved on from it. And one of the songs I remember specifically is "Where Does He Get Those Wonderful Toys?" sung by the Joker. And I'm like, I hate this so much.
What is it? Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can we put this in? Could this?
Bree, put a little clip of the horrible Batman musical that never existed, please.
We are not amused. Let me put it to you this way. Where does Chicago get all of that meat? How does Venezuela get all of their heat? And where does Adidas find all of their feet? You'd like to know the answers now, wouldn't you, boy? So tell me, where does he get all those wonderful toys?
I mean, it never happened because, once again, Tim Burton kind of was like, maybe this isn't the best thing for the brand right now. And The Dark Knight was kind of jumping off and becoming a thing. Because at this time, they were still thinking of the George Miller Justice League and all that. So they weren't really sure what to do with the Batman brand.
Hold on. In 1988 to 2002 period, Jim Steinman worked on a musical based on the Batman comic book series to have been titled Batman and produced by Warner Brothers. Theater Ventures, a new arm of WB, aimed at competing with Disney, whose stranglehold on Broadway with such Disney theatrical productions as Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and Aida, and was and remained strong. They were trying to compete with Disney.
With Batman, which, of course, great.
Steinman would, of course, contribute music and lyrics. Tim Burton was reportedly chosen to direct, although he later downplayed the actual knowledge of the project.
Sounds like him.
He was embarrassed. He was like, "Oh, that actually sounds like a terrible idea. I never wanted that."
According to Steinman, the show was about 70% done. Oh my! They were going to open in 2005, but it fell through
because Batman Begins happened.
Wow! Yeah, basically, they gave the rights to Christopher Nolan. Oh my God! What? I have to find these demos.
Yeah, they're not great. I don't think they would have made a good musical. I don't like the 89 Batman movie to begin with. I think Batman Returns is the best pre-Nolan Batman movie in all my opinion.
Batman Returns is my favorite.
Batman Returns is fucking amazing, and
It's
I feel like
really
everyone
good.
shat on it for all the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they wanted something more kid friendly. I feel like,
Yeah, and we got Batman Forever, which sucks dick.
except for Jim Carrey.
I was a huge fan of Jim Carrey growing up.
was the only one that knew what movie he was in.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Batman Forever, just because I was thinking of Two-Face. Two-Face had the best lines out of all the villains in this musical.
All the $2 bills from the Second National Bank.
That shit was hilarious. I loved it. He's like, "Hang on, I'm double parked," and I'm like, "That's the dumbest joke you could possibly make. They're winning. This is perfect."
If you stole all the $2 bills from any bank, you'd leave with maybe $2.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the American way.
Because I can. Therefore I will. We could have been friends, Batman, but let it be known this is what happens when you don't return people's phone calls.
Tonight it's personal. I'm unleashing my arsenal to rain blood. Tonight I'm gonna save my bro. When this all the city has got to go. And so be it. 'Cause it's America and I'm American. And in America I do what I like. If money can't fix
I feel like it stood out. I'm not sure it totally blended in with the rest of the show.
Let's think if we took One Day More out of Les Mis and then just put it halfway through the second act and then nothing. That's what the American way is.
It definitely feels out of place. I'll put it that way. Out of order, maybe.
Yes, it works in the story, like in a narrative. That is where that song would be, and I feel like the second act or the end of Act 1 should be with Robin getting kidnapped. So we're interested, like, oh, what's going to happen in Act 2? It makes sense. It's just it doesn't belong in the halfway through the second act. Structure-wise, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andrew. I'm glad you.
I agree.
You interact.
I don't have much else to say. I agree.
It's kind of, and then the rest of the show is kind of like Batman giving Superman a pep talk.
Pretty much.
You know,
I feel like after this song, it's kind of just like, why does the rest of this even here?
I mean, I get it, but I like to be a man a lot. Like, even though the chorus is literally just fuck you.
I see a scared little boy.
Wait, what?
Behind the cape and the cowl.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Fuck you.
I'm taking you in.
Fuck you.
You wanna be the man, you've got to beat the man. I'm gonna show you what it means to be a man. I've lived a lot about life since I got myself a bro. You mean your tiny little sidekick? You guys are so adorable.
It's weird. Like, if you're kind of looking at it from a character arc, Batman's arc finishes when he's like, I'm gonna go save Robin. That's kind of it, because he's realizes like, yep, he's done the Lego Batman thing, right? I'm lonely. I need a friend. Robin is my friend. I'm no longer lonely. I can't just sit here in my cave alone all day. And once he has Robin, that's it. Like, that's Batman's arc over. All his wants, all his needs, everything. When it comes to saving the planet, that necessity is satisfied by Superman, not Batman.
Yeah, well, Batman's incapable. I guess that you could say that's part of his arc, is he has to accept that he's not as powerful as Superman.
Oh, okay, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
It's not really that important, though. It's
But then that makes the Robin arc sort of like the subplot.
even though that's really the main plot.
Mm-hmm.
But they start the Superman one earlier, so maybe that one is the main plot.
I feel like they just were super ambitious with this, and they should have chose either the Batman, Dark Knight Returns, Batman v Superman arc, which they put in there, or the Robin becomes the soul of my life part. And then they're like, we'll do both. Just kind of like how Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice wanted to do everything, but ended up doing nothing in the end. And also Wonder Woman's there.
Maybe it is a satire of Batman v Superman, and we just didn't know it.
It came out 4 years before that movie was even around, but a satire.
I like the Super Friends stuff.
Super Friends is good.
I
I
feel
like Green Lantern. Like, I felt like he was a fun interpretation of that character that has never been done right in movies.
Oh yeah, he's like, I can make Heineken, or what was the other one?
Rolling Rock, anything green.
Well, he only makes Rolling Rock, I'm pretty sure.
Heineken or Rolling Rock.
And then Spider-Man shows up because, fresh off his own musical, and he's like, here I am.
Now, Spider-Man was actually a recurring theme in the Harry Potter musicals, where they just kept comparing Harry Potter's life to Spider-Man's life.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes. He's like,
is it really that similar? I feel like it's not that similar.
It's not, but the joke is that the Harry Potter character is obsessed with the Spider-Man movies.
Oh,
I gotta check this musical out.
And he's like, you and I are just, he's talking to Ginny, and he's like, you're just like Mary Jane and I'm Spider-Man, and I have to dump you to like go on my life. And then she's like, but you get back together in Spider-Man 2. And he's like, yeah, but then Spider-Man 3 happens and everything sucks and I hate it.
How do you hate Spider-Man 3? Spider-Man 3 is the best one.
What?
Because it was so fun to make fun of Spider-Man 3 in 2010.
Spider-Man 3 has the dancing thing, which is like the greatest thing ever put on screen.
Let's dig on this.
Exactly. It's got all the Sandman stuff, which is all great. Spider-Man 3 is the best one.
It's got Topher Grace.
The weird Venom stuff, and it's
The
got
weird Venom stuff is phenomenal.
It's got the less campy Green Goblin.
Yep.
And that's a downfall. I think that having James Franco as the Green Goblin is a negative.
I feel like just the dance scene where he goes in and dances on his girlfriend is just like...
And then hits her. Don't forget that.
And then
he
hits her. He hits her because he's like the dancing on part was like just the cake, and then you hit her for the icing, right?
Jesus Christ.
Like, I don't know. The Spider-Man 3 is the best one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's definitely the closest to a musical. I'll say that.
Spider-Man 3, the musical. Let's go.
That's Turn Off the Dark, in all honesty.
I still haven't seen that.
You shouldn't.
You still don't have to see it.
No.
You could go your whole life without seeing Spider-Man.
No one's
Turn Off the
making me
Dark.
watch that.
Nobody's making me. I can't find it anywhere. I keep wanting to watch.
Do you really want to listen to music by fucking Bono and the Edge for
They
like
put
2 hours.
They put free music from Bono and the Edge on your iPhone, and no one fucking
No one
listened to
wants that. So, like, what, you're gonna seek out worse music by them? Like,
Yes, I absolutely want to see that musical.
The thing is, you can't just see that musical is the problem. There were so many revisions to it. I want to see the original version with Julie Taymor, where Arachne had a whole fucking tap dance number where she was talking about buying shoes. I want to see that version because that sounds insane. But the version we got was like a Universal Stage Show attraction that just retold all of fucking the first Spider-Man.
you know what? That show feels like a big budget StarKid show.
I mean, it doesn't have as many fuck words.
No, it doesn't. But it also has like all the same weird campy shit, like mixed in with stuff that they want you to take seriously.
All right, Ethan, if you are going to ever watch Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, you have to prelude it with reading Song of Spider-Man by Glenn Berger, who wrote the book and explains exactly how the good ideas that they had originally became what they became slowly over time and over people having cold feet over things. It's a great book. It reads like butter. You'll get it done in one night. Yes.
I'll read that.
Yes. And then you watch the bootlegs that are out there, and you'll be like, okay.
This is what they were trying to do.
It's not even like they're trying to do, I see how it became this. I don't like this, and this will never be good.
I see why it's terrible.
They tried to make something good once, 5 years before this played.
Once upon a time, this didn't suck. Okay.
All right, guys, we got to wrap this up. We got stuff to do tonight.
All right, super friends, let's team up and figure out what our thoughts were.
Okay. Before that, now you guys have what DC superhero are we all? I'm gonna let Bree start.
Which DC superhero?
Yeah, you can't be a Marvel hero.
Okay, well, hold on. I don't know DC superheroes. You're talking to the wrong Batgirl right here.
Then you're
Hold on.
Batgirl.
Batgirl is a DC superhero.
Okay, I know, but I'm not Batgirl. Hold
You're
on.
Batwoman then. Is there also a Batwoman? There is, isn't there?
There has to be.
There is.
They've taken like every version of the word man and they've turned it into
I'm a bat
hero.
they them.
Batman, Batboy, Batgirl, Batwoman.
Batboy is a musical, so let's be clear there.
Batboy is a hero as well. I mean, superhero.
Someone go before me. Hold on.
All right. I think
I want Jess to tell me what he thinks I am.
Ooh.
I don't want to pick for others. That sucks. No, I'm Shazam. Fuck that.
You don't get to be Shazam. Shazam's
I'm
a little
Shazam.
boy. You are not a little boy.
I'm a little boy at heart.
If you say Shazam, do you turn into a little boy and like this is your superpowered form?
That's really sad if this is a superpower version of myself. Let me just say that. No, I'm Shazam. Andrew, your turn.
I want to be Aquaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? I want to know why.
You like to
Because
stay hydrated.
I don't know. In the Justice League one, he's kind of like, buff and he's got long hair. That's about all I care about.
All right, Ethan.
I would like to be.
Bree.
So sorry, I figured it out. I want to be Cyborg.
Perfect. A+. Ethan.
I'll be Blue Beetle. There you go. I'll play the hipster hero.
Beetle.
You obviously don't know every word to the Sweeney Todd musical.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. There. Yeah. No, that's actually I do, and that's why I picked Blue Beetle because Sweeney Todd. Yeah.
All right, everyone. What is our overall thoughts on Holy Musical Batman and our cheese rating? Ethan, you're first.
I'm going to give it a plus and -8. I think it is a highly, highly polarizing musical. I think that what it does well, it does very well. And what it doesn't do well is intensely racist. And if I were to give this a cheese, I would give it a bat cheese. It is a all-purpose utility cheese that Batman keeps in his utility belt.
Perfect.
It tracks mice.
All right, Bree, you're next.
I am thinking a Kraft singles.
Oof.
Good on grilled cheese.
Oof.
And maybe a McDonald's burger, but really wrong in anywhere else.
So it's good for camp, but not good for much else. I get what you're trying to say. Yes.
Right.
All right, I want to go next.
You're up next, Andrew.
All right. I feel like this is mildly funny. It's got some jokes that haven't aged horribly. You know.
The king of backhanded compliments, Andrew DeWolf.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish it was a little more serious. I feel like I've seen a lot of like super goofy versions of Batman, especially now. And Batman is probably the most parodied superhero of all time. Like, I don't know. It's not terrible though. It's got some funny stuff in it and some racist stuff in it, which is not good. And I'm gonna give it. It's not even really a type of cheese, but I'm gonna give it Alfredo because Alfred. Get it?
I get that. I'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess that's up to me. I like it. I don't love it. And I just know that StarKid can do better, especially in the music department. I feel like they really kind of...
Just like compared to Twisted, man, you know?
Well, compared to Twisted, all their Harry Potter stuff and like the guy who didn't like musicals in Black Friday, I'd even put this below both of those. And I know you didn't love those either, Andrew. But I liked Black Friday a lot more than music.
Well, Black Friday is quite good, but Twisted is just...
Perfect.
Yeah, Twisted is their best work that I've seen. I have not seen the Harry Potter stuff, so...
The Harry Potter stuff is good. It's like baby pictures. Like, this is really good for what you were doing at the time, and like with the budget you had at the time, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
But you can't hold that up to the quality of what they have when they're given $100,000 through Kickstarter to make a project like Twisted. But so my cheese rating is a cheese called the Robin from Deer Creek. It is named after the Wisconsin state bird, which returns each spring as a sign of the end of winter.
Robin sucks.
Robin does suck.
But it
Robin
goes well with domestic beers, ales, and lagers. And has won many awards because cheese win awards now.
True. Can we get a candy pun? Can someone do a candy pun before we end this? I feel like we have to.
Ooh,
What do we got? You know, I liked that they use now and laters. Now and laters are my favorite candy. Yeah. I feel like they never get
How
any
many
respect.
cavities do you get?
I get a few now and more later.
All right, there we are. We got our pun there. Ethan, I know you've got a ton of things to promote out there. I love your work, and I'm always so glad to have you on here because you are a funny, very smart, very intelligent person that's like able to talk music and not make me feel dumb for not knowing it.
oh, thank you.
So tell us all about your stuff.
I have a YouTube channel called Sideways. If you just type Sideways into YouTube, it's a picture of a sideways alto clef. That's me. I talk a lot about music, specifically like film scores and leitmotifs and stuff like that. But I do every now and again stumble into the world of musicals and talk about musicals and musical film and stuff like that. Come check me out. I have a Patreon. I have a Twitter. I stream on Twitch once every several months. So come on and critique how badly I play video games. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me on. I love it so much.
Ethan, anytime you want to come back on, if you got something to say about a musical, you always have a home here, no matter when or where. You fit into this groove pretty well.
I've got to ask a question before you go, though.
Uh-huh.
Why alto clef? Like, why are you the worst?
Yeah.
No answer?
I when I was coming up with a YouTube channel, I was looking for like things that'd be like read music, but
Yeah.
not be just like a blank music note or something like that. And so I saw an alto clef and I was like, oh, that's something nobody really knows. And then I turned it on its angle. I was like, there it is.
Alto clef is just use treble clef, but like lower it an octave, and it's basically the same range and everything. Alto clef is worthless. They need to get rid of it.
There are a lot of trombonists who disagree with you. And
Trombone is a garbage instrument. Throw it away.
oh my god, when I was in school, we used to have huge debates about trombone versus euphonium and how terrible
Euphonium is better.
It's not.
Tubo's better.
It's not.
And
Oh,
it is.
hold on. Tubo's okay. Euphonium's not better than trombone.
It is.
It's not.
I mean, like, though, it kind of is, though. Like, sounds better.
Right.
Hey, Ethan, did you watch the last 5 years yet? I recommended it to you after your Les Mis episode.
It's on my to-do list. I still haven't seen it.
If you understand the plot in any way better than Andrew, you've already won.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Oh, actually,
It's true.
I have a question for you. If you had to, how would you turn this musical into a Muppet Show?
Oh, right. We have to do that. I want to see Batman as... I want to see him as Fozzie. And I want to see Superman as Kermit.
Superman Kermit would be good.
Yes, but I want to see Alfred played by oh shit.
Alfred has to be a guest, dude.
No, Alfred has to be what's his name, but I can't. America Man.
Oh,
Sam Eagle.
Sam Eagle. You've got a lot of villain roles to fill, and not a lot of Muppets to use for all of those.
Sweetums would be Sweet Tooth.
Of course. So, Scarecrow. You could put
Swedish Fish or Swedish Chef.
No. Scarecrow. You'd want to put Uncle. What's his name? Uncle Death or something. I don't even remember what his name is.
Uncle Death?
He's a spooky Muppet.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his
I
name
am
either.
totally lost. The Muppet lore goes deep.
Muppet lore goes very, very deep.
But there's not a lot of women, which is a problem.
That is the problem. They're all chickens. All women are chickens.
All women are chickens or Miss Piggy.
That's like the only... And Miss Piggy clones.
Yeah, or the weird sexy Miss Piggy they added for the new Muppet TV show.
I'm sorry.
Miss
What
Piggy
did you
clones.
just wait? Sexy Miss Piggy? Did I hear that?
Well, not for the... It's not the new Muppet show anymore, because now there's a new
Yeah,
Muppet
they
show.
got the new Disney Plus one, but I'm talking
For-
about the one they had on ABC.
Muppets The Office?
Yeah, the
That
Muppets
one.
The Office, where Kermit found a new pig woman, and she's got a smaller nose, and she's fuckable.
Yeah.
Have I been living under a rock? What the fuck is going on?
And Fozzie accidentally signs up for like Grindr gay porn, and he's like,
Look.
they were looking for bears, but that wasn't right. But it wasn't.
Is it like Millennial Muppets? Is that the ideal?
Yes.
Please, Bree, show us a picture of the new pig.
I'm already working on it. Hold on.
She's on it. Just, Ethan, you have to see this fuckable pig.
You need to fuck this pig.
Oh god. No, okay. If I was gonna turn Holy Musical Batman into some kind of Muppet show,
Yes.
Okay.
I would Avenue Q it. Wait.
There she is.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's a person.
What
pig.
the fuck?
They made a fuckable Miss Piggy. Am I wrong? Did I describe it incorrectly,
I'm
guys?
looking at the related images. Oh my fucking. What
Which
the
actress
shit?
does she look the most like?
Why does Kermit want
Why?
to have sex with pigs?
That's a
Why?
thing. Don't kink shame him.
Frogs don't fuck pigs.
She's
and
got
frogs.
glasses. Okay. Why? What? What?
Don't scroll too far here. We're gonna see some things.
Now type in Rule 34 after it.
What? Why? What purpose does this serve?
It's to make Miss Piggy jealous of Kermit's new person.
There's like what, 2 girls that are Muppets?
There's yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
Oh
all mess.
my god.
I can't
I don't
look
know
at this
how you-
anymore.
I don't know how you didn't know this existed.
How?
It's the worst.
What? Whoa. Whoa.
Do you think she has her own category on Pornhub?
Yes.
No. Wait. Hold on.
She looks like she does.
Denise.
She has an OnlyFans at least. She definitely has an OnlyFans, and Kermit has to deal with that.
Kermit doesn't have to deal with that. Kermit runs it.
Hello and welcome to Denise's OnlyFans. You know who definitely has an OnlyFans? Our wonderful patrons. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals with Cheese, or on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals. Our Patreon is Musicals with Cheese. Come join us over there. Our Instagram is also Musicals with Cheese. Our YouTube page as well. Please email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. We haven't had many positive emails lately, so if you could send us something nice, that would help us a lot. This show is produced by our wonderful producer, Brianna Jones. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on our platform where we talk about how much Kermit would fuck this sexy pig. Ethan, thank you so much for joining us. It really was a joy today.
Thank you for having me. I love learning about new Muppets.
So is she going to be added to your Muppet Spank Bank?
Absolutely not.
Putting that one up on your plasma, having yourself a Jack Attack.
Oh, God. Ethan, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this all up?
No, I'm good. I've learned enough today.
Bree?
No, I'm cutting you guys off. This needs to stop.
Andrew, anything you want to say? Martha! Why did you say that name?
Why did you say that?
Why did you say that name?
Where is she? Where's Martha?
It's his mother's name.
Where's Martha?
All right. We'll see you guys next time on Musicals with Cheese. Martha!